Hey guys, what's up? Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
कैसे हो आप सब? I hope you guys are doing great today. All right, so let's wait for a few more minutes. Let me see who will join. All right. Okay, so we are going to learn today basically the configuration, initial deployment of the Palo Alto Firewall. Let's suppose we have the brand new firewalls. So what are the step-by-step process? How we are going to deploy the Palo Alto Firewall? And what are the best practices? Means if you have the physical firewall, then how deployment is going to happen. If you have the virtual firewall, then how deployment is going to happen. So we will understand a step-by-step this all process. So you guys are going to be champion in terms of the deployment of the firewall. So let me share my screen and then we can start. All right, so I hope my screen is visible to everyone. All right, let me stop my video as well. And now we are good. Okay, so you guys are ever configure any firewall like LB Yadav, Amrit, Amit? You guys are Mohit, Tripathi. You guys are configure Ravi, Amit, Parth.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I have
Which
configured
firewall?
like
Which
platform
firewall you configure, Amrita?
820, 480, 3000 series.
It's a Palo Alto only, right?
Yes, Palo Alto.
Okay, great, great. That is a great. Okay, so who not seen any firewall in your life and you not configure any firewall in your life? So you guys must know the basic architecture of the firewall, especially how firewall is going to look like and how the step-by-step configuration is going to happen. So let me explain. Let me bring out my day zero lab. Have you done the day zero lab configuration in last session or not? Amrita, have you done or not?
Yes, yes.
We done like, right? We
Yeah,
done.
yes, yes, we done.
Okay, okay. Then it's fine. Then it's fine. Then it's fine. Then great. Okay, so let me just quickly recap, right? Who joined the very first time. See, if you have any firewall, right? The firewall front is going to like this way. Means it is a physical firewall. It's a 820 firewall. So in this firewall, you are going to find a lot of ports, and in this port you have the basically the RJ45 ports, जिसको हम copper बोलते हैं, right? This is the copper port, and these are the fiber port. So you can connect either, like if you want to make the LAN connectivity from these ports, you can do that. Only fiber is going to give the high throughput, high speed, but copper is going to give the lower speed, low throughput. Why? Because they have the maximum capacity up to 1 Gbps. So this is the basic difference, but rest आप दोनों से ही connect कर सकते हो network को. Means if you want to make the connectivity from the LAN, from this copper and fiber, it's possible. These HA are very special port we use for the high availability. So if you want to make the true firewall in the cluster, then HA1 is going to connect HA1, HA2 is going to make the HA2. This is known as the control link, right? And this is known as the data link. So this is going to bring the HA cluster in your network. Now, after that, if you want to take the console for the GUI, means the GUI, it is known as the HTTPS. Hold on. This is known as the GUI access, right? Via the HTTPS. So you can take GUI, means you have to go type HTTPS browser and you have to give the firewall IP address 192.168.1.1. This is default IP address of management interface. So you can get the GUI access of the firewall. But if you want to take the CLI access of the firewall, then you have to take the console. There is a console cable is going to be there. And by using this console cable, you can take the console access of the firewall and you can do whatever you want to do that. So this is how we can take that like local CLI or GUI access of the firewall by using the console or might be by using the HTTPS access. The ports USB is basically used for the any file transfer. If you want to copy file from firewall to your PC, from PC to your firewall like OS transfer, this is going to be helpful for you. This console is again only port type is going to be changed. and these are the LED status. So this is the physical firewall. This physical firewall is going to be covers a preloaded OS version, right, which is known as the PAN OS. This PAN OS can be generally nowadays you are going to get either 10.0 or might be the 11.0. And as per the organization need, you have to either downgrade or upgrade the Palo Alto firewall as per your organization need. Sometime you need to upgrade, sometime you need to downgrade. Most of the time you have to be go with the most stable PAN OS. And this PAN OS is going to be similar for your physical firewall, or if you're going to use a virtual firewall, this PAN OS is always going to be same. Means your organization, if you're deploying the virtual firewall, in might be the data center in any ESXi server, KVM server, or any other hypervisor, the PAN OS is going to be same for your organization. If they approved like 10.3.2, then it is going to be same across the physical and the virtual firewall. So this is how it is going to be done. So it's a quick recap from the previous sessions because we discussed about the architecture. Now, whenever we have to start firewall learning, so we have to understand how basically we can do the firewall configuration. And for that, we have to understand the very first thing, my firewall is going to do the layer 2 interface configuration or not. So I will just wipe out all the configuration from this particular switches and router and PC and firewall. And we will understand if I want to make the communication like a switch, can my Palo Alto firewall can work? The answer is yes. Palo Alto firewall can deploy in the multiple mode. Right? The very first mode, you're going to find layer 2 mode, right? The second, layer 3 mode, right? For third, you're going to deploy the tap mode. Fourth, you're going to deploy the vWire mode. You can make the Palo Alto firewall. These are the deployment for the interface type, but also you can deploy the HA mode. Also, you can deploy the firewall. If you want to do, this is not deployment, but it's a method. You want to do the inter-VLAN routing, you can do on the firewall. It's not mode, but this is the possible. If you want to create the sub interface, you can do on your Palo Alto firewall. Also, there are a process. We'll learn about the virtual router concept. If you want to deploy the DHCP, you can do that. If you want to do the DNS deployment, they're the basic things, right? You can do all these settings for your Palo Alto firewall. So the very first thing, we have to understand what is a layer 2. And eventually we'll go and learn one by one other steps as well. This is the FortiGate. Let me show you the course curriculum as well. So you guys are going to be aligned with my concept. Hold on. So if I hold on, guys, my bad. If I go there and yeah, this one. So you can see here, we have the interface mode deployment. I will talk these all things. What is the SP3 architecture? What is the flow logic? We'll do that discussion one by one. But I'm just showing you interface level configuration because this is the very foundation topics. Because whenever you're going to start working with the firewall, you know the type of the interface, how this interface are going to be useful in terms of deployment. So the very first is layer 2. What is layer 2? Anyone know? What is a layer 2 interface? Come on, guys. What is layer 2 interface?
Interzone network.
No. I'm just talking about definition. What is a layer 2 interface?
Local area network.
Okay.
Cannot be used as the routing. It can only be used for the switching purposes, like
Layer 2 interface work upon the MAC address.
Yeah, that's right. So layer 2 basically a protocol means layer 2 interface is a like interface where you just go and do the communication based on the MAC address. There is no IP address. You cannot assign the IP address. That is the layer 2. So let's suppose, take an example. In company, you have another switch, and this is the layer 2 switch. And behind this layer 2 switch, you have a 2 clients. Okay. This client is basically known as PCA. This client is known as the PCB. All right. Now, if you go and connect from this client to this one, it is going to be there. It's going to be there. If they are going to be make the communication, let's suppose this client is on the VLAN 10, and this is going to be VLAN 20. Are they able to talk in this network? Are they going to talk or not? What do you guys think?
No.
Not.
Why not? Any valid reason?
Because
Because
both are
sir,
from different VLAN.
but sir, both are communicated with the help of
We
DTP.
have to do inter-VLAN routing.
We have to
Okay.
do in this topology, it is not going to work because it's a flat layer 2 network, and this is not going to make the communication between two different VLAN.
Yes.
If they are going to stay, yeah, please go ahead.
सर अगर DTP यूज करेंगे तो कम्युनिकेट करेगा?
क्या?
अगर हम DTP की पॉलिसी इसमें इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं तो कम्युनिकेशन होगा?
देखो उतना आवागी मत
That
जाओ,
is
ठीक है?
different thing.
We just talking about the VLAN level configuration. The policy DTP is not going to be there, right? आपको यहाँ पे VLAN 10 यहाँ पे है. Let's suppose you are just going to configure the VLAN 10 here, and यहाँ पे VLAN 10 आप करते हो, then it is going to work or not?
सब काम
करेगा
करेगा
सर.
सर.
They are
Same
going to
VLAN
work,
इतनी
right?
बार.
They're going to work because they're in the same VLAN. But if we
Yes,
have
sir.
the different VLAN, जो अभी हम अगले लैब में करेंगे, then you require the either this switch need to be changed as a layer 3 switch, ठीक है? और यहाँ पे एक आपको राउटर लगाना पड़ेगा या फारवर्ड लगाना पड़ेगा जो इनकी इंटर VLAN राउटिंग कराए,
Correct.
ठीक है? Then it is
Yes.
going to happen. So we'll see in the different lab how inter VLAN routing is going to happen. But the same topology, same requirement, we have to do via this topology. See, my both subnet for this PC are the same subnet, 10.10.10, 10.10.11. They are the same broadcast. But we have to understand from Palo Alto point of view how these two PCs are going to make a communication end to end. Are they really going to work like a switch, or they have the different way of doing the communications? So this is the layer 2 deployment. So what I will do that, I will use the VLAN. See, listen carefully. On this port, I will put the VLAN 10 as a access port. Okay. This is also going to be a VLAN 10 as access port. This is also going to be VLAN 10 as access port. This is also going to be VLAN 10 as access port. Now, this firewall is going to be part of the VLAN 10, but do we really require to VLAN configuration of the firewall or something else I need to do that? Let me do that. So we'll think about that. Let me start this firewall. So I will turn on this firewall. This firewall OS is 9.0.4. I can change the 10.0 also, 11.0 also, but I'm going to show the basic lab. So 9.0 is enough because lightweight software. So we can do the quickly the lab. Now I will turn on this particular PC, this PC as well, this switch as well, and this switch as well. Very first thing, I will go on the PCs and I will assign the IP address. So I'll go with the very first PC. I will go to the second PC. I will go here. I will go here. Let me go ahead. Mohit, mute kar lo.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I will go and keep the host name as a switch 1. I will go here and give the host name as a switch 2. कहीं भी समझ में नहीं आया किसी को ना तो प्लीज रेज योर हैंड या मेरे से पूछ लेना. ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब कि यू गाइस जस्ट थिंकिंग लाइक कि मुझे समझ नहीं आया ऊपर पर चला गया. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. So I will go on the switch. I will create the VLAN first. So VLAN is going to be 10. And I will go on the interface, Ethernet 0 by 0, switchboard mode access, VLAN 10, no shit, right? This is the very first thing. Second thing, I will go on the port 2, switchboard mode access, VLAN 10, no shit. Okay, do right. That's all. This configuration is on this switch. I will go another switch, interface. Sorry, I'll create first VLAN. So VLAN 10. The interface is going to be my Ethernet 0 by 1. Switchboard mode access, VLAN 10, no shit. The other interface is 0 by 2. Do right. Okay. So it's very simple. Now I'll go on the PCH. चलो इनका सेशन थोड़ा सा नहीं आ रहा तो लेट मी इनिशिएट अगेन. पुट्टी में कई बार हमें नहीं दिखता है, सो वी जस्ट हैव टू go there. I will use this one. What is next step? On the PCs, I will assign the firewalls as well. I will assign the IP address and disable the PC window firewall. There is a defender firewall, so I will disable that as well. So allow me some time. Let me first check. Let me try. Why not is showing the, yeah, now it's showing. Okay. Hold on, guys. I think there are some internet issue. Okay, now it's fine. We just have to replace the page. Okay, now it's okay. Done. Restart later. Okay. So very first thing, I will go on this PC and I will disable the firewall. Why I'm disabling the firewall? Because if you trying to ping from this PC to this PC by directly connected cable, there is a window of firewalls which is going to block your connectivity. So I will go on this particular PC. I will disable the firewall. Give me 1 second, guys. No? Okay, now it's working. Hold on. There is some issue in the internet. Let me try one more time. If this time it's going to create a problem, I'll switch the network. Let me try. So I will go here, my window firewall. Disable this. Okay, this is done. Okay. Now I'll go here as well. I'll go here. Window. Apply. This is done. Okay, this is the very first step. Second step, I will go and assign the IP address this particular two PCs. So I will change this address settings. And give the IP address 10.10.10.10. And this is going to be subnet mask. No gateway. I'll click OK because layer 2 doesn't require the gateway. So I'll simply click that on PC. I'll go that PC also. Change the address setting. This is going to be 10.10.10.11. And I will give that 255.255.0. Click OK. Click OK. And click OK. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me stop one of the lab. It's working, I believe. That's consuming a lot of resources. Hold on. This lab is working. Yeah, let me stop this lab. Okay, now it's off. So you guys also, whenever do the lab, make sure you turn off the lab so it's not going to create a lot of resources. So let me create out. Now I assign the IP address and we have to go next step. Okay, it's fine. It's also fine. Now I will go here and simply check the what is my IP address. CMD IP config. This is the IP address. I'll go in the PC2 as well and I'll simply check what is IP address. The IP. This is the IP address. But if I try to ping 10.10.11, it's not going to ping. We have the switch configuration between we have the firewall. So we have to do changes on the firewall. You can see firewall get automatic IP address. For you guys, you have to access the firewall from this window PC. You will get the same subnet IP address like my PC is getting because I'm in the LAN. So I'm getting the same subnet IP address, whatever the firewall is getting. If you go in the firewall, very first username, admin, password admin, and then after you have to change the password. You have to give the old password and new password. Like anyone have name as the Mohit, so Mohit@1245 इस तरीके से आप डाल सकते हो. So admin, and I will give that password. Now let me show you my client, the PC I'm using right now, the MacBook. It's the same LAN. So system info, if you check, this is the IP address 248 and my PC also the same range. So if I'll just try to ping this IP address, it is going to ping. For your case, your management IP address of this firewall and PC is going to be same. So you have to log in this PC and you have to get the GUI access for this firewall. I can take directly access from my browser. How? I can go here and HTTPS 192 and the IP is going to be 248. So I will put 248 and see this is my GUI access of the firewall. I'll simply click OK and I'm in the firewall. I'll put admin, I'll put password, and now I'll click close and here is a network. Now we have to make these two interface Ethernet 1 and Ethernet 2 under the layer 2 mode. Now how it is going to happen? There is no villain tagging is allowed. Only any name or number you have to give on the same name, same number, either one or combination of on these two interfaces. You just go on this interface, make as a layer 2 interface, and villain you have to give any name or number. So like I can give the villain 10 or I can give the villain only 10. It is also going to work. but name should be same on the both interface. It should not be changed. So I'll make the layer 2 name as a 10 and security zone. Now we have to understand what is security zone. So right now my security zone here is a LAN, and let me make the another interface also as a LAN security zone. So this is the new thing you have to understand what is security zone, which I'm going to explain right away after a few minutes after testing this lab. So security zone is very important. So I will give the LAN zone here. Security zone, no IP is needed. I'll click OK. I'll go another interface. I'll make this interface as a layer 2. VLAN is going to be 10, right? And this is security zone is going to be LAN zone. I'll click OK. And simply I will commit it. That's all. And after that, okay, see, so now it's showing the auto commit is pending. So what is auto commit? You'll see here, show system, sorry, show jobs all. This is the command. So see, auto commit is pending 10%. So what is auto commit? Auto commit is a process whenever you reboot any firewall, they are going to be in auto commit. Means whatever the last known configuration they have as a startup configuration, or you can say means basically startup configuration, they will automatically copy this configuration running and they will commit that. So somebody is going to ask in interview, what is auto commit in the Palo Alto Firewall? So you should know the meaning of auto commit. So see, you're going to find a definition. A Palo Alto auto commit is a crucial background process that automatically load and applies a running configuration to the hardware data plane after reboot, device restart, or significant change. Means generally whenever you're going to restart, reload the device is going to be auto commit. So now my firewall is stuck in the auto commit and it's not moving. Now it's auto commit done. See, now it's done automatically. If not moving, then you have to run commit. You have to go configuration and you have to write commit force command. Then auto commit is going to be very fast. But now your auto commit is done. So you can see, meanwhile I was talking, the auto commit is okay. Earlier it was at 10% only. So let me go again and try to do commit again. So this time commit should be happen. So wait for a while. My commit is going to be done. See, so commit has been done. Now if I go on the my this PC and try to ping another firewall, means another PC should be reachable. Yeah, it's reachable now. You can see few packet drop, but now it's reachable. Now if I try on this PC and try to ping another firewall, means the PC, that should be reachable also. See, I'm able to ping that also. So now I have the communication from this PC, and you can verify the logs also in the Palo Alto Firewall. If you go in the session browser, you're going to find the log. The traffic is coming from 10.10.10. It's going to 11.11. Sorry, 10.10.11, and it's a ping. But we don't require any policy. We don't require any policy. Without policy, it's working. Clear till here? Any doubt, guys? Any
Sir,
problem?
yes, sir. Sir, can
Ask.
we monitor this traffic on the traffic
Yes.
option?
Yes, we can monitor this traffic, but this version is not showing. Later I will show you in the different version 10.0. अभी यहाँ पे नहीं दिखाएगा मुझे, ठीक है ना? तो मैं अभी आगे 10.0 फाइल यूज करूंगा, उसके अंदर सारा लॉग दिखाएगा. So we'll see that there. So ये
Okay, okay.
historical दिखाता है. It is going to be live log. ये आपको live log दिखाता है. This is going to show the live log, and this is going to show the historical log, Mohit. ठीक है?
Okay, okay, understand. Okay, ठीक है.
Any other question in this lab? Anyone have? Means how I achieve this lab? Layer 2. LB Yadav, Amrita, Amit, Mohit,
सर
Prince,
ये
Kiran.
फायरवॉल साइड पे हमने विलेन बनाया कि मतलब इंटरफेस पे कॉन्फ़िगर किया?
कहाँ पे?
यहाँ पे जो पोलो अल्टो फायरवॉल पे एक्चुअली मेरा नेटवर्क चला गया
There is
था,
nothing मीन्स
प्रॉब्लम।
मैंने बोला कि आपको यहाँ पे इंटरफेस करना, इसमें you can put name और number, but both sides should be same. मैंने सिर्फ पूछा 10 नंबर डाल दिया, 10 and 10 यहाँ पे, that's all.
मतलब तो यूजुअली हम तो इस पे आईपी दिए होंगे ना फायरवॉल पे, मैनेजमेंट आईपी कोई,
मैनेजमेंट आईपी इज डिफरेंट थिंग, एलबी यादव.
मतलब
मैनेजमेंट
इस पे
आईपी तो
कनेक्टिविटी के लिए
इट्स दिस
सॉरी।
मैनेजमेंट आईपी एड्रेस
हाँ हाँ।
192.168.1.248. बिना मैनेजमेंट आईपी के फाइल को लॉगिन कैसे करोगे? इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल ना.
हाँ हाँ हाँ।
बट मैनेजमेंट आईपी टू जस्ट लॉग इन द फायरवॉल, बट आपका कम्युनिकेशन ऐसे हो रहा है, इसके थ्रू हो रहा है, इससे मैनेजमेंट से कोई लेना देना नहीं है.
जैसे सर हमने, जैसे यहाँ पे 10.10 PC1 है, 10.11 PC2 है, तो हमने फायरवॉल पे कुछ नहीं दिया, बस वो हमने एक दोनों तरफ नेम या
यस,
नंबर सेम डाल
राइट.
दिया वो।
लेयर टू में क्या करते हो? स्विच पे आप कुछ करते थोड़ी हो. स्विच पे क्या करते हो आप?
हाँ
एक्सेस पोर्ट
हाँ
तो कन्फिगर करते हो ना. आप क्या करते हो?
हाँ
कुछ नहीं
हाँ।
करते हो, आईपी थोड़ी कन्फिगर करते हो.
नहीं
सेम ही
नहीं।
तो यहाँ पे हो गया. मैंने यहाँ पे स्विच थोड़ा
ओके।
लगा दिया कि थोड़ा अच्छा लगेगा दिखने में टोपोलॉजी, वरना मैं सीधे इसको यहाँ कनेक्ट
हाँ
कर
वो।
सकता था. क्या फर्क, यहाँ कनेक्ट
जी।
करता है, इसको यहाँ कनेक्ट करता है, तो बात तो ही होती है ना फिर आपको.
हाँ सच्ची है।
यस अमृता. अमृता, प्लीज टेल मी.
Yes.
यू ओके? मेक
Yeah,
सेंस?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
ऑलराइट. नाउ.
सर हेलो
यस.
सर, ये और जो जिस लैब से आप मुझे दिखा रहे हो, ये लैब मुझे एक्सेस मिलेगा क्या प्रैक्टिस के
यस
लिए?
यस, यू आर गोइंग टू गेट सेम लैब एक्सेस.
ओके
you
ओके
you
गॉट इट।
ask support team, they will give you the same lab access. Okay, so you
ओके ओके
can you can do that. All practical
श्योर
what I'm doing here.
श्योर सर सर ओके ठीक।
Okay, now see the magic. Earlier the zone was same. Now let me define the different zone on the this interface. So one thing you have to note, whatever interface type you have, layer 2 interface, layer 3 interface, tab interface, vwire interface, right? Sub interface, VLAN interface, tunnel interface, okay, loopback interface, HA interface. Whatever interface you see till here, let me draw the box. While doing the configuration of this interface, you must have to configure the zone in Palo Alto Firewall. But only the HA interface, if you have the any HA interface, this HA interface do not required zone config. Make sense? So one thing you have to take always as a thumb rule, whenever you're going to configure any interface on the Palo Alto Firewall, any interface except HA, you must have to configure the zone. If you're not going to configure the zone, your firewall probably not going to allow to make any communication. It's a mandatory. Now, what is zone? I will explain. But let's see, earlier my zone was same. Earlier my zone was LAN, here also was LAN. So my PC was start doing the communications without any issue. But now I'm going to change the zone on this interface to trust. And let's see, will it going to be still communicate or not? They are talking right now. You can see these two PC are talking, but I will go on the network interface. And after going on the this one, I will change from LAN zone to trust zone. So I will create one of the zone. This is known as the trust zone. I'll click OK. Okay. The moment I will commit this, Kiran, any question you have, man? So once I'll commit that, you'll see some magic is going to be happen. And based on that magic, It's done. Now, if I go and see, we lose the communication. Why it's happened?
Because it's a different zone.
Yeah, it's a different zone. So the people who doesn't have any idea about the Palo Alto firewall, let's understand this because these are the basic foundation. And if you're not going to understand these basic foundation, you're always going to be struggle. See, I told you if this is the switch, if this is the switch layer 2 and I connected to PC here on this switch and they are the VLAN 10, by default they are going to talk. Can I break any communication? The answer is no, because switch by default make the communication. But Palo Alto is not like work the same way. Palo Alto have the different way of the architecture to work for the any client to client communication. And the very first communications that is going to be there, that is the zone based communications, zone based policy. So if you have the same zone on the both interfaces, either it's a L2 interface, L3 interface, or any other interfaces, they will allow the communication, same zone. But if you have the different zone, they will block the communication. And where? In the policy. So by default in Palo Alto Firewall, why earlier they were able to work? Because they have the default policy here. You go here in the policy, there are two default policy. One is the intra zone and one is the inter zone. And intra zone, that means the same zone. If I'm talking the intra zone, that means it is the same zone. Got it? Means let's think in this way. This is the block, right? Kiran, mute yourself, man. There's HR, IT, sales, IT, sales. These are different office cubicle. So by default, IT can sit. Let's suppose this is my IT. This is my IT want to sit 30 people. They have the 30 people sitting arrangement here. So 30 people can sit here. If this is going to full, next 30 is going to be sit here. So they have the access by default. They can sit here and here. But sales cannot go in the IT. Sales can sit in the sales. IT can sit in the IT. HR can sit in the HR. So means if we have the same department, HR to HR, access is
Yeah, if
allowed.
it is not wrong, I'm not wrong, then is it really similar as the VLANs, right?
Yes, similar to villain. What's your name, sir?
My name is Salim.
Salim. Let me rename you Salim. Welcome to the class because your name is not showing. Which city you are, Salim?
Bangalore.
Bangalore. Nice to meet you, Salim. All right. Yeah, similar to that only. So if HR to HR, the access is allowed. This is known as the intra-zone. Okay, intra-zone policy. So this is your intra-zone policy, first one. And see, zone any to any. Intra-zone means same zone. The action is going to allow. But if you want to talk the HR to IT, it's going to be intra-zone or inter-zone. What do you guys think?
That is the inter zone.
Inter-zone. So this is going to be blocked your connection. And this is your second policy. See here. This is deny everything. So makes sense. So if someone is going to ask what is zone, so zone is nothing. It's a logical segregation or grouping of the interfaces on which you can either allow the communication or you can block the communication. So if you go and read the, I'll give you one more example, but let me just theoretically explain what is zone in the Palo Alto firewall. So you can understand a little bit. So Palo Alto firewall security zone is a logical grouping of network interfaces or virtual interfaces that represent a network segment used applying the security policy, controlling a traffic, simplify management by segmenting your network into trusted, untrusted like LAN, DMZ, internet, and blah blah blah. So it's very difficult to remember this hard code English technical line. So in simple word, if I say that what is zone? Zone is the logical segregations between your physical and logical interfaces. Which interface need to talk, which interface by default in regard of the what subnet. Means इसमें you can say segmentation policy enforcement है इंट्राजोन एंड इंटरजोन. इसका एग्जांपल समझो अभी आप एक और. Let's suppose this is your Palo Alto Firewall. You're going to get more insights after seeing this example. This is your firewall, right? This firewall have the multiple interface. Let me draw here. This is a firewall. This firewall have one of this interface. This is another interface. This is the interface. And this is the interface. Let's suppose this interface is your ATS 0 by 0. This interface ATS 0 by 1. This interface ATS 0 by 2. ATS 0 by 3. This interface is going to be IP 10.10.1/24. 20.20.1/24. 30.30.30./24. 40.40.40.1/24. Now see the magic. If I put the zone, this is my HR zone, and this is also my HR zone. Okay. If I use some other color and say that this is my IT zone, and this is my IT zone. So if any traffic, listen carefully, guys. If any traffic here, one PC is connected, here another PC is connected, because zone are same. So any traffic coming from this PC to this PC, by default, firewall is going to allow it in regard of what subnet they have. It makes sense. Why? Because they have policy inbuilt, which is known as the intra-zone policy in the firewall. By default, an action is going to be by default allowed. So this is why this session from this PC to this PC is allowed. It's clear? Similarly, if I want to make the communication from HR to HR, let's suppose there is one more PC here, PC B, want to communicate from the PC C, different subnet, but zone are same. There again, it's going to be allowed. But if these two want to communicate, let me use a different color. If this HR want to communicate to this IT, will they communicate or not? What do you guys think?
We need to create a policy from
HR to IT will allow or block?
by
It will
default
block.
it's block.
Default is going to block. And which policy is going to block?
Interchange policy.
Intrusion.
Inter-zone policy, right? So if you want to make them communications, you have to create the policy. So the policy, see, so what is the zone? Zone is, say, it's a logical segregation between your physical and the virtual interfaces. If you have the same zone, you don't have to create the policy. By default, it will allow. But if in regard of what subnet they have, routing can be different. But this is going to be allow your communication. But if you have a different zone, it is not going to allow the communication. Give me thumbs up if everyone understand this concept, guys.
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है सर.
एक एक करके. हाँ, पहले मोहित बताओ क्या क्वेश्चन आपका.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर हम इंटर जोन वाली जो पॉलिसी है उसको हम टॉप पे ले आए रूल को, तो क्या ये एचआर और आईटी आपस में कम्युनिकेट करेगा?
You cannot change that policy. You cannot make on the top. See, disable है. You cannot add it. You cannot change. आप override कर सकते हो, but इसमें आप छेड़छाड़ नहीं कर
Okay.
सकते. You cannot do that. ये by
Okay,
default ही
मतलब
ऐसा रहेगा. ये manufactured policy है. You cannot make any changes. अगर ये टॉप पे
Got
कर
it.
दोगे तो ये नहीं चलेगा, फिर बिहेवियर इज गोइंग टू बी चेंज्ड अगर टॉप पे आपने कर दिया तो। क्लियर?
Yes.
दूसरा क्वेश्चन, व्हाट वाज द सेकंड क्वेश्चन? समबडी वाज आल्सो आस्किंग दैट।
सर मेरा एक
यस।
क्वेश्चन है, सर अगर ये सेम जोन में डिफरेंट डिफरेंट सबनेट है तो बाय डिफॉल्ट ये ऑटोमेटिकली पिंग करेगा या मुझे कुछ राउटिंग वूटिंग करना पड़ेगा
हाँ,
इसमें?
दैट्स अ गुड क्वेश्चन, दैट्स अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। आई रियली वांट समबडी आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन। ओके, सो देखो, कभी भी एक थंब रूल लिख लो, राइट? whenever you want to make any communication in any firewall, okay,
Okay.
not only the Palo Alto, I'm talking about the any firewall, तीन चीजें आपको याद रखनी है, तीन चीजें आपको हमेशा याद रखनी है। गिव मी 1 second। Always the very first thing is going to check
Routing.
routing. If there is no routing, if zone is same, it is not going to work. Okay,
Yes.
so routing is must be there. Second, NAT policy if applicable, जरूरी नहीं नेट पॉलिसी में चाहिए, बट दिस इज सेकेंड इज गोइंग टू बी देयर। एंड थर्ड, सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी। सो पहले केस में राउटिंग है, वाई राउटिंग वी हैव, बिकॉज दे आर द कनेक्टेड सबनेट। देख रहे हो आप,
हम्म।
they are connected subnets, we have the routing, that's why I didn't mention that, because they are the connected subnet। so routing table के अंदर they are going to show as a connected route। आप लोग अगर राउटिंग से बैकग्राउंड से आ रहे होगे तो आप लोग इसको समझ पा रहे हो, समझ पा रहे हो मैं क्या बोल रहा
अगर
हूँ।
ये खूब दूर है तब सर?
वी हैव टू डू द राउटिंग, ओएसपी, पीआईजीआरपी, बीजीपी में दिखाऊंगा कैसे करते हैं, राइट, लेटर ऑन।
हाँ
So you
ठीक।
have to do the connected routing, that is going to be there। NAT is not applicable। What is security policy for this case? HR to HR, what is security policy?
मीन्स इंटर पर
Intrazone.
इंटर जोन पॉलिसी, राइट?
Intra-zone policy. So it will check the intra-zone policy, and that's why it is able to talk. So now you guys are
ओके।
very much comfortable about the zone. If somebody is going to ask about the zone, so you guys are going to be explain what is zone, because this is a topic what I cover along with the layer 2 security zone. Everyone
यस।
comfortable? Give me
Sir,
thumbs
I
up,
have a
guys.
question, Salim here.
Yes, Salim. Yes, Salim. Please
Yeah,
go
sorry
ahead.
for the disturbance.
No
Okay.
problem.
So, my question is like, as the business perspective, as the explanation you have given is completely based on L2. So that means this work can be done using the normal switch also. When we can configure ACL also on the normal switches, why business will need a firewall to be implemented for to do this task?
No, no, no.
Because that
See,
is bit
firewall
expensive,
and
right?
Salim, firewall and L2 switch, they have the two different product. Okay. Firewall and L2 have two different product. पहली thing, पहली बात ध्यान रखो आप। See, switch L2 cannot do the firewall work, right? But firewall can do the L2 work. So which device is better? Salim, which device is better?
Yeah. I can understand, but the concept, the one you explained. So don't take me as a wrong.
No,
So
no, no, I'm not,
because the
I'm not
concept.
taking it wrong. You ask the question.
Okay,
There's no problem. Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead, please.
Yeah, because the concept you explained, that is completely like it is alternate the named as the VLAN one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the L3 switches we also have. So through using of that L3 switches also we can perform this. So why the business will the implement the cost on this, bear the maximum cost, because the firewall parallel to firewalls are too expensive to configure this kind of setups.
Okay,
So
let
that
me
that
let me
was my
answer. So
question.
you understand, you understand this is setup, you understand? I understand your
Yes, yes.
question.
Yeah,
Everyone
I
clear
got
about
this.
this zone one? I'll explain Salim one. It's very interesting one. I'll explain that. No worry. Okay, so let me clear this process. Let's
Yeah,
suppose.
sorry to disturb. Actually, the
Yes,
same
yes.
question I'm having. I think Salim want to say, as I want to
I
say.
I got the
So,
I got the question.
yeah,
I will reply.
basically,
Give
what
me
is the
some.
difference then for like
हाँ
VLANs and the firewalls?
हाँ, ठीक है, मैं आता हूँ,
वो
ठीक है, चलो,
एक्चुअली
ठीक है,
सर एक
ठीक है।
बार मैं बोलूँ क्या?
हाँ, अलवी बताओ, बोल, बताओ, यू कैन ट्राई।
नहीं बोल देता हूँ, फिर आप थोड़ा सा उसको करिएगा। एक्चुअली बोथ आर डिफरेंट बिकॉज even working perspective also both are different, like like we can manage easily on the firewall basis. Suppose that on the router and switches basis, if you are doing like going to block anything, so you have to do the ACL. But ACL, if you have 10, 20 routes, you can do. If you have 1,000, 1 lakh routes, how you can going to block? So comparison then this our firewall is better, and we have lots of feature comparison then like routing, doing the routing switching. We have multiple features on the firewall. So that's why we can say it's comparison then that firewall is better.
All right, LB, thank you. Appreciate it. Let me try to answer my as per Salim and like Amit questions. Okay, thank you, LB, for supporting me. All right. So one thing, the layer two. Okay, layer two switch. VLAN-based communication can be done, but it's a low cost device, right? But if I want to use the firewall, like especially for the Palo Alto, it's a very high cost device, right? For the VLAN communication. So why I use the firewall instead of the layer two? This was the question, Salim, if I understand correctly.
Yes, yes, the same
Okay.
configuration which can be done on the L2.
Okay, okay. Now,
Why
now,
switch?
now let's understand. Let's understand. There are the multiple business use cases, okay? There are the big company, right? Big MNC. There are the mid-range of MNC and small business. Okay. If big MNC is happening, then what is going to be happen? They have the full three-tier architecture. They have the core layer, they have the distribution layer, they have the data centers, they have the firewalls. So what happens? Switch we required to get the more ports. Why we require the switch? Because we required to get more ports and we can create the communications. These switches come with the 24 ports, 48 ports. When you are going to use the 96 port stacking, modular switch is also going to be there. Like chassis based switch is also going to be there. They are going to give more and more port where they are going to be connected. So VLAN is going to get on the switch and their gateway is going to be router or might be the firewall. That's the one thing. And we can achieve that all communication based on the switches. And they are low expensive going to be there. But it doesn't mean they don't have the firewall. There is a firewall, but firewall is doing the routing, policy, engine configuration, but layer 2 configuration is not going to be happen. Even for mid-range company also, you are going to be do the similar setup, but your firewall is not actually going to give the, because firewall having the port like 10 port you are going to get, 14 port you are going to get. If you have the very big firewall, then might be 48 or more than 48 port you are going to get that. So if you are going to get chassis based firewall, it's going to be very costly to you. But let's suppose I am the small business. I have just my 10 to 20 users sitting on the sites. Think about it. 10 to 20 users sitting on the sites, and I'm using the unmanageable switches where I cannot get the VLAN, but I want, let's suppose the GuiNet is a small company. Okay. Think about this, the GuiNet. So if a GuiNet want to ensure their user have the unified solutions, they have the proper routing, they have the proper switching, and they also have the firewall services, right? So LAN is also there, WAN is also there, plus security also there. So if this GuiNet company is going to purchase the enterprise level of solutions, so what they have to do that? They have to purchase the router, at least 2 router. Then they have to purchase the switches also. And then we might be have to integrate the firewall also. So if I go and purchase these all devices, the cost is going to very high for me. And I cannot purchase this because for me, only 10 to 15 employee need to work in the office. So I will go and ask vendor, hey vendor, can you give some solution, a small range of the firewall where I can do the VLAN based communications. I can do the inter VLAN routing. I can run the BGP. I can run the OSPF. And also I can do some firewall things. So they can say, yes, I can do that. I can give the one firewall which is going to cost 2 lakh rupees, right? 2 lakh rupees. Let's suppose 2 lakh rupees. But here the cost is might be going to be 5 lakh or 10 lakh rupees. So this cost is going to be always lower than me. And then what is going to be happen? On the firewall, I will create two ports. They are going to stay in the same VLAN, VLAN 10 and VLAN 10. And I can extend low cost unmanageable switch where the user are going to be connected. Okay. And they can make the internal communication if they want. And also I can create some trust zone where my other user are going to connect and they can go on the internet. So my firewall is doing the routing. They also doing the switching, also doing the firewall services, and I can save a lot of cost. So this is just a feature of the Palo Alto Firewall. Means this Palo Alto Firewall can be used as a business use case. It's not mandatory, but for small businesses where we have the little bit requirement of the VLAN extensions, I can use that layer 2 deployment and I can use the same concept. Salim, it makes sense to you? You
Yes,
got it?
I'm clear.
Okay. So this is how we can do that. Now, coming back to our lab topology, guys. And now we understand the zone. So if I change the zone, you can see my communication has been lost. Why communication lost? Because they are in a different zone. So we have to create a policy from my LAN zone to trust zone. This is the explicit policy I need to create. So I'll go here and LAN to trust policy. And the source, I will give that, let's suppose LAN zone. Address is 10.10.10.10. Destination is going to be my, what is destination? The LAN and trust. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay, so I will go here and trust.
सर वो ऑप्शन दिखाते चलिएगा कहाँ कहाँ से आप ऐड करें.
एक minute. Give me 1 second. 1 minute. 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, guys. Just give me 1 second, bus. Hold on. No, I'm showing that. Somebody is calling me. Just let me text him immediately. Okay, so the option is means let me start from scratch. I going in the policy sections. After going in the policy section, I'll go in the add, and this is my policy is going to be my LAN to trust. So this is my LAN to trust policy. And after that, I will go in the source, and this is going to my LAN zone. And here I'll go and create a 10.10.10.10 IP address and destination. I will go here and put the trust, and IP is going to be 10.10.10.11. See, this policy, the action is allowed. I'll create this policy. This policy always going on top of the default policies. Any policy you're creating manually, it is always going on top of the default policy. Okay. If I create a policy from LAN to LAN, intra-zone, and I say it's blocked, then this policy is going to be override. You got my mean? What I want to say that if you are going to create a policy and very top, see intra-zone is saying any same zone traffic should be allowed. But आपने यहाँ पे जाके create कर दे policy LAN to LAN should block. So this policy is never going to be hit. Always your top policy is going to check and it is going to block your all connections. So it's not always thumb rule. My intra-zone policy is always going to be live. Might be your organization, someone is creating a policy intentionally to block even the intra-zone traffic. So in that situation, you have to troubleshoot. You have to check and analyze the policy. So now if I commit that, you'll see at least one communication is going to start working 10 to 20. But sorry, 10 to 11. But 11 to 10 is not going to work unless or until we are going to create policy. Reverse. say it's start picking, but still this is not working. This is not working. So I will go and create one reverse policy. I'll go here and this time I'll create the trust to LAN policy. And this time it's going to be trust. And what is the IP address? It's going to be 10.10.10.11. And destination is going to be your LAN zone 10.10.10.10. Action is allowed. Okay. And make it commit. And you'll see the magic. This is also going to work. See, it's also start pinging. And now you can see the traffic again hitting in the firewall session. And this traffic now you can see LAN to trust and trust to LAN. See the reverse and forward traffic. So I will discuss this all more. But for time being, you guys understand layer 2 deployment in June. Is it clear to everyone? Yes, no, maybe. If you disagree with
Yes.
any kind of the concept, you're not understanding, raise your hand, raise your bar. I will definitely acknowledge that. But if everyone understand, give me a thumbs up. Give me समझ में आ गया. You can use your Zoom annotations. You are going to get the thumbs up options. So I come to know you guys completely understand.
सर ये तो समझ में आया
हाँ
कि हम क्या बाई डायरेक्शनल पॉलिसी लगाए क्या?
हाँ, बायडायरेक्शनल लगाया.
sir,
So
I
for
have one doubt.
okay, let me first take LB Yadav doubt. Let me clarify his doubt, then I'll take your doubt. Yes, LB Yadav, tell me.
सर बाई डायरेक्शनल हमें दोनों साइड ऐड करना पड़ेगा या कोई ऑप्शन होता है या एक साइड का ऐड करें दोनों
In
तरफ हो
Palo
जाए?
Alto Firewall, initiator, let's say, if you are the initiator, if you have the unidirectional policy, right? And he is initiating the connection to the server. Server is reply on behalf of this connection based on the policy what is available, right? But if server is initiating the connection toward the client, then your reverse policy also going to require. That's a mandatory step. But if client is requesting to the server and we have the unidirectional communications, then based on that request, he is going to reply. This is the feature of the stateful firewall. They maintain the session table. I will discuss this all later on. Clear?
मतलब इस केस में हमें दोनों तरफ से पॉलिसी हमें लगाना
Yes.
पड़ेगा.
If you want to say my server also want to talk to a client, then you require the reverse policy also. If my client only want to talk to server, then only one policy is going to require.
तो इस केस
So
में
मैं
आईसीएमपी पिंग नहीं करेगा?
नहीं करेगा पिन.
ओके, मतलब सोर्स रिप्लाई नहीं आएगा आईसीएमपी
नहीं
का.
आएगा. Yes. Yes, Amrita, please go ahead. Ask your query as well.
Yeah, why we needed two policy? Is that any possible to achieve in a single policy, like 10 to 11, then 11
Yes,
to 10?
it is possible. It is
Possible, yeah.
possible. We can do that. But in the same policy, we have to make the, let's suppose I want to achieve the single policy with the help of single policy. I can do that. But this policy must include your source zone also and destination zone also.
Also, yes.
And source IP also, destination IP also. Both side I
Yes.
have to
Yeah.
change it. So you can go here and give the IP also. If you do that also, it is going to work.
Okay.
It is absolutely possible, but generally we create the different policy. This is a best practice.
Actually, yeah. If we select any means that it will be work
For all. Means
instead. Instead of.
it's similar to the intra zone going to
Okay.
be there. Everything is going to be allowed. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let me stop this recording and move to the next discussion. Now I'll go here, stop it. And I'll close it. Let me go and talk about the Inetrvlan routing. So,
Sir, I have one more another doubt.
yes, please. Please go ahead. Hello.
Hello. I'm
Yes,
audible?
please. Yes, you
In
audible. Please
HR
go.
department, they are using 10 applications.
Uh-huh.
So between the one HR department, 10 people sitting in first floor, the another
Mhm.
one 10 people sitting in second floor. So both are in same intra zone only, but uh, application based we need some restriction. Is that
Mhm.
any possible to configure
Yes,
same like that?
yes,
Right?
yes. We can do that. We
I
have
am
to
right?
integrate the AD. We have to integrate the AD. I will show later how it is going to happen.
Okay.
AD based restriction, even the same zone, but even we can restrict the based on the AD user ID.
In
There is a
policy
restriction.
also we can restrict some using application is the control, is that right?
Yes, it's also possible based on the
Yeah.
application, based on the URL, based on the AD, multiple thing we can do in very flexible firewall.
Okay.
Very flexible firewall. We can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, the second lab we are going to discuss about, it's a very basic lab, right? In this lab, what we are going to do that, we are going to do the inter-VLAN routing. This is the inter-VLAN routing. So again, I'm extending the same topology. We have the switch layer 2. We have the PC A, the IP is 10.10.10.10/24. Another PCB, the IP is 20.20.20.20/24. Give me 1 second, guys. Just 1 second. I'm getting one emergency.
Hello?
Sorry, guys. Really sorry for that. I got some emergency call. Sorry. So I was talking. Let me resume the recording. We have we have to do the inter-VLAN routing. So like we have the switch. This is the switch. switch is L2. This switch is connected to the PCA. This is another PCB. This is the R1 from where I can make the connectivity. Because अगर इसका IP change है यहाँ पे, if you have a different IP address 10.10.10 and this is going to be 20.20.20.20/24, they cannot talk via the L2 switch. So we require a device where we can do the inter-VLAN routing, जिसको हम बोलते हैं router on a stick. I hope you guys know about that, right? So on this router on a stick, we have to create .1q interface, and based on that .1q interface, we have to make the communications from one VLAN to another VLAN. Same thing we have to do via the Palo Alto Firewall. Means this switch is going to be act as access port for this particular VLAN and stay on the VLAN 10. This port is going to be also access port. This is going to be under VLAN 20. This is going to be on trunk port, right? Where I need to pass 10 and 20 VLAN. Now I will create the two sub interfaces on the Palo Alto Firewall so they can do the communication between each other. So I will go here. I will go on the PC. See, this PC have already IP assigned. Let me show you. I believe I have done the IP assignment. Let me try one more time. IP config. Okay, there's no IP, so I will assign the IP address. So I will go here and I will give the IP assignment. This is going to take an IP address 10.10.10 255. It required the gateway as well, okay? Because without gateway, you cannot do the inter-VLAN routing communication. So gateway is going to be your firewall. And this PC also you have to disable the firewall, because if you ping from one PC to another PC, firewall by default PC is going to block. So I will disable the one PC to another PC firewall as well. So I will go here and I will use this firewall as well. And this is also disabled. I can check what is the IP config. This is my IP and I will go and configure this adapters as well. Properties. And this is going to be 20.20.20.20. This is going to be 255, 2020.1. Click OK, 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 done. What is next step? We have to go in the switch. Switch required two VLAN. One is a VLAN 10 and another is the VLAN 20. So I will give and make the host name as a switch 23 and I will give VLAN 10 exit, VLAN 20 exit, and Kiran, you can mute yourself, man. I will go in the interface Ethernet 0x1. Kiran, can you mute yourself? And I will put a switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 10, no shut, right? Another port we have 0x2. So I will go 0x2. Switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20, no shut. And if you run the command show VLAN brief, you are going to find the VLAN 10 have 01 port and VLAN 2 have the 0x2 port. Now we have to configure this port as a trunk port. That is going to my Ethernet 0x0. So interface 0x0, switch port trunk, allowed VLAN. Sorry, I need to encapsulation.1q. First, we have to enable the encapsulation and then switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10 and 20 and no shut. So let me write and show interface trunk if you run this command. Show VLAN brief. What happened? Show interface trunk.
I think there should be running command of
No.
switch port mode trunk.
Show trunk. There is a command. It's going to show that. Show interface trunk. Give me 1 second. There is a. Yeah, right. Okay, I forgot to assign one command. That's why it's not showing that. Switch port mode trunk. This command is mandatory. Now, if
Yeah, that's that's the command I was telling about.
yeah. See, now it's showing that. Okay, sorry for that. So this is the like this port is become a trunk. So I missed that command. That's why it's not showing the trunk. Now we are done. So we did that basic configuration on the switch. I make this port is access port. This is access port for the VLAN 10, 20 trunk. Now it's time for the Palo Alto Firewall. So I'll go here. I will log in the Palo Alto Firewall. Admin. Old password admin. New password. New password. Show system info. Okay, 249. Let me check auto commit done or not. So jobs all. It's okay, right? So the IP is 249. So let me go here and log in HTTPS 249. I'll go. I will just simply done admin. I will give the password. Now you see that. After that, we are going on the network sections. Here is dashboard, and on network sections, we have to make this interface for the sub interface configurations. So to making sub interface, the interface must be as a layer 3 interface. This is the prerequisite. So I will go on the interface and I will configure this as a layer 3 interface. No other configuration, just you have to change the mode as a layer 3, because if you're not going to change, you can see sub interface is disabled for us. So to do the inter-VLAN routing, you must have to enable the sub interface feature. So we cannot do that. Default mode tap 1. So I will change as a layer 3 mode. And then after, you see your sub interface has been disabled. That means enable. I will click on it. Here I have to give the VLAN tag. So tag is going to be this section. Any tag means what is a tag? I need to create 2 tags. The VLAN 10. But this number is not mandatory. You have to give the similar to tag number. Tag is mandatory as per your VLANs. Then only it is going to be available and understand by the Palo Alto Firewall switches about the VLANs. But this is a local interface. You can give any number from this range. So better use 10 only. That's the best practice. Now there is a virtual router. Now we have to understand what is a virtual router. I will explain. Wait for a while. But for time being, I'm using the default virtual router. That's it. And security zone. Already you know that. So for that, I will create a security zone VLAN 10 zone. So this is going to be under the VLAN 10. VLAN 10 zone. Okay, and I will just click OK. IP is going to be 10.10.1/24, and I will leave it as of now. Okay. I need to create one more thing. I will create VLAN 20 tag. I will give tag here also. I will keep the same virtual router, but security zone I need to keep that as the VLAN 20 zone. I'll click OK. IP I will go here 20.20.20.20/24, and I will click OK. Now, if I commit Shall I able to ping my gateway or not? What do you guys think? If I commit, technically it should be pingable or not pingable?
It should be pingable.
It should be pingable. So let's verify, because we did the right VLAN mapping, right configuration. So it should be pingable without any issue. So let me see whether I'm able to ping or not. So let me try to ping the gateway. From this PC, I will go and ipconfig and try to ping 10.10.10.1. It's not pinging. If I go here, ipconfig, try to ping 20.20.21, it's not pinging. So there is a logic. What are the services allowed on the management interface? Anyone know that? Default services allowed on the management interface. Can I ping the management interface or not?
Ping, HTTP,
Ping.
HTTPS, echo, ICMP. Right?
So there are three services allowed: HTTPS,
Ping,
ping,
HTTPS.
and the third one is the SSH. This is the default services allowed on the default services allowed on management interface: ping, SSH, and HTTPS. But other interfaces, whatever you have, other interfaces, layer 3, any other interface except management, all services by default blocked. That's why I'm not able to ping. Clear? So if I want to able to ping, then I have to allow the services on the interface. Allow the services on the interface. Then only it is going to be ping. So let me allow how it is possible. I will go on the my, why it's stuck. Let me see. I believe firewall rebooted. So guys, firewall rebooted. So let's reboot it. So I need to allow the management services on the interfaces. Then only, and that's known as the management profile. So I will show you how it is going to happen, management interfaces. So I need to create the MGMT profile. And under MGMT profile, whatever services, let's suppose I want to allow the ping. So I need to allow the ping. If I want to allow the SSH, this PC can do the SSH. Then I need to do the SSH. If I want to allow the telnet, I can allow the telnet. If I want to allow the HTTPS, HTTP or HTTPS, these services you have to explicitly allow to make the communications. If you're not going to allow, it is not going to work. All right. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Audible.
Now there is a concept, you guys see the virtual router. Meanwhile, firewall is booting. So what is the virtual? Sorry? Anyone have any questions?
No.
Okay. So there is a concept known as the virtual router. So what is a virtual router, guys? So virtual router is nothing. Whenever you're going to purchase any firewall, by default, you have one router inbuilt. And this router is known as the VR, and its name is known as a default router. So every firewall which you are going to purchase, especially for the Palo Alto, it's going to contain default virtual router for the routing engine. And in this router, you can run every routings. Means you want to run the static route, you can run. You want to run RIP version 1, version 2, it's going to support. You want to run the OSPF, it is going to support. You want to run the BGP, it's going to support. So these routing 4 protocol it's going to be supported. No EIGRP, ISIS. So by default, this virtual router is going to be supported. But it's not mandatory in one firewall you have the only one virtual router. You can create multiple virtual router up to 225 virtual router can be created. 2 is the minimum and 255 is the maximum. Any physical firewall, you can create minimum 3 virtual router. The smallest firewall is 220. But virtual firewall start with a 2 maximum virtual router you can create. But maximum you can create 225. So how it is going to be decided? So to create a virtual router, it's depend on your hardware size. So if I go in my dashboard, here you go there. If I have the very small firewall, let's suppose this is my very small firewall. This is going to only support up to 3 virtual router. Small firewall, maximum support up to 3 virtual router. Even you want to get more, it's not support. If you are going for the 820, it support 5 virtual router. If you are going for the 3220, it support up to 10 virtual router. If you are going for the higher size, 220 virtual router. If you go more higher, it's again 220 virtual router. So maximum you can configure, that is a 220 virtual router. That's the maximum capacity to configure the virtual router. Minimum for the hardware, you can configure the 3 virtual router. It's a clear. So any firewall, you are going to get a virtual router, but these virtual routers basically, this, I believe this firewall has been reset. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. 249. Let me try one more time. I can log in. I believe I lost the configuration. If it is going to work for 5 minutes, I can complete the lab. And we are going to use a more stable firewall. Okay, so I believe I lost the configuration. Let me see. I lost the configuration. Let me do that again, configuration here. So I'll make the layer 3. Okay, I will quickly go and create the sub interface here. And this is going to be, sorry, the virtual router is going to be use the default one. I will conclude the virtual router, wait for VLAN 10 zone. Okay. And the IP is going to be 10.10.10.1/24. This was not pinging. So to make it ping, I have to apply the management profile. I have to get the management profile. So I'll put the management profile. This will allow to ping from the PC. So I will allow services ping SSH or might be the HTTPS. Okay. Okay. See, this is the giving the warning. By attaching the interface management profile on the interface, you are potentially exposing the firewall administrative interface to any party that can reach to this interface. I'll click OK, yes. And I will configure one more interface. 20. And this is going to be default. I will configure the VLAN 20. This is going to be 20.20.20.1/24. Now here I will configure the management profile and commit. And I will commit. Let's wait. After that, probably this PC start pinging to the gateway. Earlier it was not able to ping, but after commit, probably they will start pinging. So wait for a while. See, it start pinging. Both are start pinging because why? We configure the management interface. Now, if they want to talk to each other, I will come to the virtual router again, but they want to talk to each other. Then how they are going to talk? This PC cannot talk to this PC by default. If I go here and try to ping 20.20.20, What is the IP address for this PC? IP config 20. This is not going to ping. And if I try to ping here from 10.10.10.10, anyone know the reason why it's not pinging?
We need a routing.
Yes, that's a valid question, but do you require routing? What do you guys think? Or do we have already routing?
No, already interconnected, na? This is directly connected.
Directly connected. So if you go and check the routing in virtual router, these
It will
routers
show
have
connected.
already connected router available. So routing is required, but in this scenario, already we have the
Not
routing,
required.
so it's not needed. Clear?
Yes.
Clear? This one, routing is not needed. Then what is second thing we required?
Policy.
Yes. So we
Policy
need
I
to
think
create a
required.
policy. If PC 10 want to talk to 20, so VLAN 10 to 20 policy needed. If VLAN 20 also want to talk to VLAN 10, then we require the reverse policy. So we'll create the two policy. One is going to be there, VLAN 10 to VLAN 20 policy. Source is going to be your VLAN 10 zone 10.10.0/24. This is going to be your VLAN 20 0/24. Full subnet I am allowing. The moment I will commit, they will start talking. But let me create the reverse policy also. This is going to VLAN 20 10 policy. This is going to my VLAN 20 source 20 0/24. Destination is going to be 0/24. Applications, and let me commit. The moment I will do that, so this is done. Now you will see that we probably able to ping both sides. So these devices start pinging to each other. So this is known as the inter-VLAN routing. Now let's understand more depth about the virtual routers. Is it clear till here, guys? Any doubt regarding the inter-VLAN routing and management profile?
Cleared.
Clear, right? Now, if we
Clear.
want to put the routing, that routing is going to be always happen on the virtual router. And this is the by default virtual router. So one firewall is going to be always one default router, and you can do all routing in the same router. But let's suppose I have the GuiNet VR. That is a virtual router. You can create that. Two virtual router. If you go for third, it is not going to allow to create. See, it's saying that you don't have the means you reach all the maximum capacity, so you do not have the license to create virtual router more than two. So this is a different virtual router. Now, if I put one interface, let's suppose if I put one interface here, sub interface, I'll put in the virtual Mohit, कुछ पूछ रहे
सर
हो
सर प्लीज, हाँ सर प्लीज इसको दोबारा से रिपीट कर देना एक बार।
क्या मतलब क्या नहीं समझ में आया, थोड़ा बताएंगे आप मुझे।
मैं ये बोल रहा था कि आपने बोला कि ना दो राउटर सपोर्ट करता है मैक्सिमम वर्चुअल राउटर,
हाँ
वो
मैं ये बोला
हाँ
देखो, अभी ये समझ आया, पीपीटी बताया तो मैंने आपको कि भाई कौन सा राउटर कितना मैक्सिमम सपोर्ट करता है वर्चुअल राउटर, ये
हाँ,
समझ में
वो
आया
मैं
था।
वो समझ में आया मेरे को।
तो
अभी जो लास्ट
जो
वर्ड बोला वो
हाँ तो मैं ये बोल रहा था कि जो हमारे वर्चुअल फायरवॉल है ना, ये फिजिकल नहीं है। तो बाय डिफॉल्ट
हम्म,
जो मेरे पास मॉडल ये वाला है, ये दो ही वर्चुअल राउटर सपोर्ट करता है। वी कैन नॉट क्रिएट
ओके,
मोर देन। और राउटर का काम क्या है मोहित?
सॉरी।
राउटर का काम क्या है?
राउटर का काम होता है सर कि दो डिफरेंट नेटवर्क में कम्युनिकेट कराना।
हाँ ठीक है। सो यही राउटर का यहाँ भी काम होगा, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी माई वर्चुअल राउटर इज गोइंग टू डू द राउटिंग। ठीक है ना? तो अगर मैं एक
ओके,
वर्चुअल राउटर में, अभी देखो जैसे आप लोगों ने, इफ यू गाइज नो अबाउट द वीआरएफ कॉन्सेप्ट, यू गाइज नो द वीआरएफ कॉन्सेप्ट एवरीवन, जिसको बोलते
Yes.
हैं
Yes.
Yes.
वर्चुअल
Virtual routing forwarding.
राउटिंग forwarding. This is the VRF concept. So if everything is going to be there without VRF, then it is part of the global routing table. Okay, this is going to be in the global routing table. But if you want to make in the VRF routing table, so you have to split the same routing in the multiple routing table. So one is by default, the global routing is there. That is going to be there. Second is going to be your VRF A. Third is going to be your VRF B. And this is going to be C. So they are not going to allow to talk each other. In case of the VRF, you have the different kind of the routers. Means the same router, you have the different VRF. They are not going to allow to talk. In similar way, in Palo Alto, if let's suppose you have the virtual router 1, virtual router 2. So if any routing in the virtual router 1, they will not allow to make the communication in the virtual router 2. Even we have the policy. So you make the inter VR routing. So let me do that right away. So I will go here on my firewall, and this is my second interface. I will put this interface on the different virtual router. Which one? GuiNet one. And the moment I will do that, you will see this will lose the connectivity. Both way it is going to lose the connectivity because they not having a routing. The first packet is going to hit in the virtual router default and it will check the network 20. But there is no network 20 connected because we moved that network in the virtual router GuiNet. It's clear? Everyone? Come on guys. समझ आया ये वाली
Yes,
बात
sir.
नहीं समझ में आया?
Sir,
So
clear.
we make that, and if you go and check that virtual router in the default, you only have 10 network. There is no 20 network. And because of that, you lose the communication. See? And if you go for the
Yes.
GuiNet virtual router, you also not have the 10 network. So we have the policy, but we not have the routing. So how we can make the communication by using the inter-VR routing. This is known as not inter-VLAN, inter-VR. That is the virtual
Okay.
router routing, inter-VR. Many time it's going to be asked in the interview. This is very L3 and L4 level people are going to be always asked if you're going to apply for the more than L2. What is the inter-VR routing? Okay. So if I want to do that, how can I do that? I will do via the static way. I will create one of the static route in my default virtual router for the 20 subnet. I will go there and create for VLAN 20 subnet route. Okay. What is the destination? 20.20.20.0/24. There is no interface, but next hop where you want to send. I want to send the next VR. And what is my next VR? I'm in default. I want to send in the GuiNet VR. That's all. So just make it okay. Similar way, once the packet is going to reach in the GuiNet VR, we have to again send in the default VR. So I need to create the reverse route also in the GuiNet VR. And this time it is going to be VLAN 10 subnet. Destination is going to be 10.10.10.0/24. Next hop is going to be your default VR. समझ आया नहीं समझ में आया? Honestly बताओ. Who all understand? Raise your hand. And who all not understand? Raise also your hand. मतलब एक एक करके बताओ पहले. किसको समझ नहीं आया वो बताओ किसी को. LB understand, but what is Amrita, Amit, Kiran, Mohit, Ravi? What do you guys
I
think?
can understand.
And Amit, Kiran, Mohit.
एक बार बता दीजिए सर ये लास्ट वाला कॉन्सेप्ट जो था.
अच्छा हमें बात करना है कि earlier we have the single router, right? ठीक है. और in
Right.
single router we have the two interfaces on the single router. ठीक है ना? तो by default they have the routing. कैसे? By using the connected route. Make sense? यहाँ तो समझ में आ गया?
हाँ.
अभी मैंने क्या
Yes.
किया कि एक सब इंटरफेस को डाल दिया डिफॉल्ट के अंदर, दूसरे सब इंटरफेस को डाल दिया मैंने GuiNet के अंदर, तो दो अलग वर्चुअल राउटर हो गए, तो दे विल नॉट कम्युनिकेट. तो अभी मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, इसका राउट इधर लिख कर रहा हूँ, इसका राउट इधर लिख कर रहा हूँ. मीन्स GuiNet से default में, default से GuiNet में. And this is what I have done in the policy. I just go in the policy, देखो ये policy, मतलब sorry, not policy, in the routing. I am putting the 20 subnet route pointing to next hop as a GuiNet VR. And reverse, I'm going in the GuiNet VR, pointing the reverse route toward the default VR. And the moment I will do the commit, you'll see the magic is going to happen. This is known as a inter VR routing. Wait, see? You see, this is start talking to each other. Clear, guys? It is clear to everyone?
Yes, clear.
Yes, sir. No clear.
Okay. So I don't want to stress the initial sessions very long. So I would recommend everyone just go through that videos, recordings. You'll get tomorrow. And if you have any doubt, let's discuss in tomorrow class. Tomorrow we have a class, so we can discuss this whole concept. All right. So I believe we are good for today. You guys can enjoy your rest of the day, and let's meet tomorrow.
Sir, एक चीज पूछनी है ये when we get the labs.
You can get today only. Just reach out to support team. They will give that.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, is the fast class?
One by one, one by one. Yes, Kiran.
Is this fast class starting class is fast today?
Yes, it's kind of the first class. We have the last week one class where we discussed the basic foundation about the theoretical stuff, and we understand
Okay.
how we can do the firewall basic configuration, like initial deployment. So I will cover that for you. Don't worry. Okay, Kiran?
Yeah,
But technically, we are starting from the interface level deployment of the firewall. Means we have to cover
Yeah.
module, and still we starting directly from the third module. This module I started. This is a course content, so you not miss any content till here. Okay, I just started the module third because I have to explain the interface and all. Then I'll go in the module one. This is the first class is going to be happen and flow logic. So I not start generally from there. I start from basic concept, then I go and explain this theoretical concept, architecture, flow logic, Kiran. So you're not going to miss anything.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Happy weekend. See you again tomorrow. Bye. Take care.
हाँ जी सर जी
सर
हाँ जी हाँ जी
सर जी एक रिक्वेस्ट है
हाँ बताइए.
सर मैं ये कह रहा हूँ ना एक्चुअली लैब सर समझ में आ रहा है मुझे और सर थोड़ा सा ना ये जैसे लैब आप जब करा रहे हैं तो एटलीस्ट एक एक ऑप्शन हम लोग को थोड़ा सा अच्छे से ब्रीफ कर देते तो बढ़िया है क्योंकि जब हम डैशबोर्ड पे जाते हैं तो हमें पता नहीं चलता कि हम कहाँ क्या देखें.
ठीक है, मैं कल बता दूंगा, कल याद दिला देना. ठीक है.
जैसे नहीं सर आप जैसे आप लैब कर रहे हो ना ठीक है उसी को बस थोड़ा सा बस ब्रीफ करते चलिए कि देखो यहाँ से हम फिर मैनेजमेंट वाला करेंगे तो ये आ जाएगा ये यहाँ पे ऑप्शन मिलेगा ऐसे ऐसे करके से आप किए फटाफट जा रहे हो ठीक है तो बट ऐसे हमें मिस कर जाएगा.
मैं समझ गया. चलो ठीक है, आपकी बात समझ
सर
गया.
अभी ना ये स्टार्टिंग का सेशन है तो थोड़ा बहुत ना थोड़ा सा पॉइंट्स हमें पता है तो थोड़ा
इसे
समझ में आ
इसे
रहा है.
इसलिए मैंने बहुत बेसिक से स्टार्ट किया इंटरफेस लेवल से ही, क्योंकि आई वांट टू गो ऑन द इंटरफेस. तो अभी मेरा इंटेंशन यही था कि आप लोगों को बिल्कुल इंटरफेस वाला चीज़ें पहले बताऊं, ताकि वो काफ़ी लोग अभी जैसे नेटवर्क से आते हो तो यू गाइस हैव द इंटरफेस लेवल ऑफ नॉलेज, लेयर टू इंटरफेस क्या होता है, इंटरप्लेन राउटिंग क्या होता है. तो मैं वही टॉपिक चूज करता हूँ इनिशियली, ताकि आप लोगों को मोर कंफर्टेबल फील हो, क्योंकि आगे चीज़ें और एडवांस होते जाएंगे. बट
सर
नेवर
वही सर ना जब एडवांस हो जाएंगे तो हमारे ऊपर से निकल जाएंगे.
नहीं नहीं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, मैं निकलने दूंगा, कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं. इसलिए मैं बार बार पूछता हूँ कि जो भी दिक्कत हो पूछ लिया करो. मैं
सर
बता दूंगा. ठीक है.
सर जस्ट वन मोर क्वेश्चन.
यस
पालो अल्टो पे सर हम लोग पॉलिसी के थ्रू एप्लीकेशन को कंट्रोल कर पाएगा?
यस,
Just one.
वी कैन डू दैट. आई विल शो दैट.
ओके 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 सर.
सर इसका ये पावर पॉइंट स्लाइड मिल जाएंगी क्या मुझे?
नहीं, ये ट्रेनर की होती है पीपीटी. आपको आपके स्टडी मटेरियल मिल जाएगा, सारा कुछ जो भी नोट्स हैं, ई बुक्स हैं, लैब गाइड है, वो सब मिलेंगी. बट दिस इज द ट्रेनर पीपीटी. ये नहीं
सर
सेव
ये
होता है.
नोट्स बुक वगैरह कहाँ से मिलेंगे?
वो आपको सपोर्ट टीम दे देगी. यू जस्ट टॉक टू देम, दे विल गिव दैट. ओके, चलो. थैंक यू गाइस. सी यू अगेन. बाय बाय. टेक केयर. थैंक यू.